100 FM The Pike, we're Worcester's rock station, and Van Halen at 8:35. So I came across this story this morning, great story, out of Uxbridge. And Uxbridge High School did the Do Kind Challenge last week, and they accomplished 50 acts of kindness in one day. And on the phone right now, I have the principal of Uxbridge High School, Michael Rubin. Good morning, Principal Rubin. How are you?
Good morning, Mike. I'm great. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. And that's how I address you, right? Principal Rubin? Mr. Rubin?
Every time I hear that, I start looking over my shoulder at my dad, but you call me Mike. Whatever's easiest for you.
I just feel like I'm speaking to a principal, so I got that feeling like I'm in trouble, so I just want to be on my best behavior here.
Put my shoes on one foot at a time, just like everybody else.
Well, this is a really great accomplishment. I just wanted to give recognition to Uxbridge High School. So this is the Do Kind Challenge. So what did that entail?
So the Do Kind Challenge, grew out of a project started in Grafton. Tim Fouth, who's one of our colleagues, is an administrator in Grafton, and one of our adjustment counselors here had worked with him and wanted to grow the program here in Uxbridge. And essentially, what it challenges a community to do is accomplish 50 acts of kindness over a 24-hour period, 9 a.m. one day till 9 a.m. the next. And some of the challenges can happen, pretty spontaneously just at school, and others actually require some planning outside of school. And some of them are fairly specific. For example, something any student here could do was, clean up your bedroom without being asked. And then something that maybe took a little bit more planning was leave a surprise that's of something positive in one of your neighbor's mailboxes, or, donate some old books or a magazine to your doctor's waiting room, donate your used sports equipment to a local high school or YMCA or local community organization. So some of these things required some planning. We had actually sent the list of 50 acts out to the students in advance we sent them out, not in advance, I'm sorry, right at 9 a.m. And the intention is let's all be positive spontaneously for 24 hours.
That's great. And you were able to accomplish the 50 acts of kindness in one day. And you earned $500 for your unified sports program, right?
Correct. And, it's one of those programs that we're just getting off the ground. It's something that's near and dear to a lot of folks' hearts here. And, unified sports, for those who aren't necessarily aware of what it entails, it's athletic activities and interscholastic athletics that pair students who have cognitive, physical, intellectual disabilities, emotional disabilities, with regular education students who could serve as peer models. It's in sports like basketball, track and field. We've had a bocce event here in the past, and it's really great in helping build and sustain a community. And with all the negativity in the world, it was really nice to see our entire school. There's something about, even myself, I showed up to work that day, and there was a little Post-it left on the window of my office just saying, thank you for always looking out for students. It's a really good feeling for those who are on the receiving end.
And like you said, these aren't like giant involved acts of kindness. These are just little things that are easy to do every day. And when you do 50 of them or more, it adds up. And like you said, I mean, the news these days and for a while have been really, really heavy. So it's nice to see a story like this. So I just want to give recognition to you and your faculty, and especially your students, and especially the ones who clean their rooms without being asked. I have a 17-year-old daughter. Let me tell you, man, that's tough. That's a tough one.
Yeah, cleaning the rooms, and the two that I thought we would have the hardest time with was one was cleaning the room and one was doing the dishes. I mean,
oh my gosh,
I have two kids of my own. It would be great if they without being asked.
Yeah,
and that was one that kids were able to check off pretty quickly, and they were having some fun with it. And there was a little buzz in the lunchroom. There was some chatter in the hallways. The kids trying to figure out ways that hey, how are we going to get this one? How are we going to write a note to a police officer saying, thanks for protecting our community. If I write it, you live over by the station. You think you could drop it off for me? And that's the sort of thing that we were trying to build. And, again, all the credit to the three adjustment counselors. We have three here, Lori Tobin, Jacqueline Lynch, who brought the idea from Grafton, and Allison Saccone, who really headmanned the attack on this. They did a really fabulous job of coordinating.
Well, I retweeted the story on the Pike Twitter. You can see it there at 100 FM the Pike, and Principal Michael Rubin, Uxbridge High School, everyone there. Congratulations, and thank you for providing a little good news these days when there's so much bad news.
We can all use some good news. So thank you for thinking of us, and appreciate all you guys do as well. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. That's Principal Michael Rubin from Uxbridge High School. They won the Do Kind Challenge, or they accomplished the Do Kind Challenge. 50 acts of kindness in one day. Like I said, I retweeted the story. You can check it out on our Twitter feed at 100 FM The Pike.